Brad, Alger recently launched the Alger Russell Innovation ETF. The ticker is INVN. Why'd you launch it? Because there's a lot of ETFs out there.
Well, we believe that innovation is a key component for value creation, and it's only getting more important as innovation accelerates. We think that investors recognize this issue, but in our surveys with them and discussions with them, they don't know how to define innovation or measure it. And there's a lack of investment products that allowed investors to invest directly in innovation as a characteristic.
And Alger has always looked for innovative companies. So talk about your methodology and why this ETF is different from some of your other funds.
Well, you're right. Alger's been investing in innovation for over 60 years, but traditionally we've done it in a bottom-up, fundamental way. So a lot of field work, talking with customers, suppliers, competitors, et cetera. This is our first strategy that invests in innovation through a top-down, systematic way.
So talk a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper, if you will, into the INVN. What makes it so different, so innovative?
Well, let me tell you about the methodology. So we start with the Russell 1000. We first strip out the bottom 1/3 of companies based on free cash flow margin. So that's because since we're investing in companies with a lot of research and development, we want to make sure that research and development has actually translated into strong free cash flow. It's been productive. And then we simply include in the index and the ETF the top 50 stocks based on research and development spending relative to market value. So these are companies that are very research and development intensive.
And talk about some of the benchmarks, because there's already the Russell 1000 growth out there. So how does this differentiate from that and other innovation ETFs? And also, one of the things that investors have to consider is overlap. So they may already own Apple or Tesla in a growth fund somewhere else. Why do they need to perhaps buy it again?
That's one of the beautiful things with this product. You're not buying it again. So the active share versus some of the benchmarks that you mentioned is mid-90s%, which means more than 90% of the fund is different than the benchmark. So there isn't really any ownership of those Magnificent Seven companies, because while those companies do invest a lot in research and development, they don't have a lot of research and development relative to their market value. Also, this strategy is equal weighted. It's just 50 stocks, equal weighted, so not a lot of concentration. And lastly, it avoids a lot of the valuation issues that we see in some of those benchmarks. I like to say the product is HIP. You've probably heard of a GARP, growth at a reasonable price. This is HIP, high innovation, prudently priced.
And then finally, you're marketing the INVN in a non-traditional way through an avatar. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, we've recently begun using an AI avatar of myself and some of the other folks at Alger, and it's fantastic. Number one, it allows us to be much quicker getting our content to our clients. So our thought leadership comes out much quicker because there's much less to do on the back end and the front end. You know, you see how much it takes to make me beautiful on set with you, and we can do all that digitally. Second of all, it's very customizable. So, you know, for clients in Asia, we've got me speaking Mandarin, and I don't know a lick of it. And it's very cost effective, you know, much less labor involved, et cetera.
All right, well, thanks a lot for coming on and talking about it.
Thanks so much.